It's a model that basically takes the current rents into account and comes up with, is the deal feasible? He said, at what number does it work for you? And we said, if you give the land for free, it doesn't work.
Now land is so hard to get and so hard to find, especially like at affordable prices. How do you go about now like evaluating properties for your like next for future developments or even developments you've done in the past? What do you kind of look at from a metrics or like other than like sales price necessarily?
Yeah.
What kind of things do you look at?
Well, when you're buying land, obviously you look at the entitlements, you look at what you can build there, how many units you can put
Hmm.
up, what is your per unit cost, is the land close to good schools? Is the land close to grocery store? Is the land close to the uh, work areas that residents can travel to? Are you centrally located? So those are all things that go into consideration. But primarily on the financial side, you're looking at can you build apartments there, and can you rent them for the dollars you can program it for? So it's a model that basically takes the current rents into account and
Okay.
comes up with, is the deal feasible? Land is has always been in the 10% to 15% of the total cost
Mm-hmm.
of any project. So land is not everything. Land is definitely one of the basic things that you
Yeah.
have to program. So are the utilities there?
Yeah.
Are you exceeding your 10% to 15% cost? So those are all the things that go into play.
Okay, yeah. But you have to, yeah, that is true. I think land is definitely it is a factor because without that you can't do everything else.
That's exactly right.
But that's interesting to note that like even though like land is important, it's only a small factor in the cost. The majority is looks like on the more on the construction side. If you're saying it's only 10%.
Absolutely. So there was, just to give you a little bit more color on that. There was a particular tract of land, right, in Buda, that had, in addition to the city tax, that also had another development tax added onto it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the apartments are so sensitive for
Mm-hmm.
the tax rate, the mill rate
Okay.
specifically. That one of the particular tracks that we looked at had about a 0.5%
Okay.
higher tax rate. So when we had the land under contract. Well, we got all the other costs and everything else, and when we did the feasibility of the land, we
Mm-hmm.
found out that the taxes that we'll be paying will be 0.5% higher, and
Yeah, that's a lot.
that's a whole lot. When you have a $50 million project,
Yeah.
and valued at 50 million, 0.5% is $250,000,
Yeah.
per year. So
Per
that's
year, yeah.
per year. So you take 250,000, and
Mhm.
I believe at the time the valuation was around 5%, right? And
Mhm.
and at a 250,000, 5% cap rate, that's a $5 million valuation. We
Yeah.
had the land, I believe, contracted for $4 million,
Mhm.
and when we told the owner that, hey, the numbers won't work for us, he said, at what number does it work for you? And we said, if you give the land for free, it doesn't work. You know, so sometimes that's how it works. So we had to
Yeah.
walk away from the deal.
That's how it goes. You crunch the numbers and you realize sometimes like it's just not meant to be based off just taxes and zoning can sometimes kill things all by itself.
Absolutely, but little did we know, in the last 10 years, the markets we've been on, the market has been on fire. Rent
Yeah.
increases, and the cap rate decreases for exits
Mm.
have been so good. You couldn't make a mistake. So, needless
Yeah.
to say, there was somebody else who bought that land and built it and leased it and sold it and still made a good living. You know,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's one of those things you never really know. Like, I mean, the thing is with real estate is once you invest, you can't liquidate quickly. Like if you're
right,
like you can't take it back. So
that's right.
you make when you buy land, you make a huge investment in that project because you can't get out easily once you made
That's
that
exactly
commitment.
right. There
It's
are
not it's not like stock market.
That's exactly right. You're kind of stuck with it
Yeah,
in a
so
way.
that makes it so you're really forced to be like, am I really happy with this? Do I want to move forward with this? And so sometimes you have to walk away from deals because there's just so even with anything you do in projects, there's always all these unknowns, and you just have to sometimes make a calculated guess as to how you think it's going to go.
Yeah, Vima, very true, very true.